So Jay Costley, until further notice, no more videos on this channel. So the whole purpose of this video is to tell you really two things, to be honest. First, I have a new channel, and I will not really be posting on this channel anymore going forward. I can see myself reopening up this channel at some point in the future, but that is not going to be this day, tomorrow, or any day, anytime soon. So the new channel is specifically combining talking about veganism and talking about cosplay, which is originally what I started this channel out for. I talked about making things for Comic-Con type events, making costumes, making costume accessories, and at some point I switched to veganism. So this one again combines those two. I always knew I was going to do that eventually on YouTube. It just took me a year to figure out exactly what I want to say and how to do it. So that's what the new channel is about. Feel free to check it out, see if it's your speed. I also have a Patreon now related to that new channel. I'll leave the links to everything in the description. Feel free to take a look at that, see if that's something you might be interested in following as well. I will play the first video that I have on that new channel as soon as this message is done. Feel free to watch it. If you're not interested, cool, chill, keep going. But I just want to finish up by saying thank you guys for your support. But this channel has run its course as of now. What if you knew that a material or a tool, something you had used to make a cosplay, something you still use to make your cosplays, was produced by this, or this, or that the company it came from practiced this, which causes this? What if you knew? Would it matter to you? What would you do about it? Would you do anything about it? This photo of my Aaron cosplay was taken back in 2013. It's the best shot from my first photo shoot ever at Anime Boston, which is doubly meaningful to me because Anime Boston was the first cosplay convention I ever attended. It changed my life. I think it's also my first cosplay wig ever. It's definitely the first wig I ever attempted to style all on my own. Took about 2 months to figure out. It was my first real lesson about the value of risk-taking in cosplay craftsmanship. Something I still completely buy into today. Okay, now this photo is from AEC 2014. Don't get me wrong, that wig was even harder to figure out than the first one I showed you. Worth the struggle. But subtly, I think it's the blazer and the makeup that really pull Cyrus here together. Seriously, that suit is totally amazing. I remember I was dead set on getting something nice, putting aside the money to get something good, because I just knew that I could never do him justice if I made one myself at that time. And I must have spent over 2 hours in the changing room, obsessing over reference images, just failing hard at deciding between 3 nearly identical gray suits. Those sales reps definitely hated me. And funny enough, that makeup job probably took the same amount of time. Every time, really. I know it looks simple. Not for me. There's hours in front of a mirror in a hotel room somewhere written into that makeup job. Every one of them as dedicated as the last. Hopefully. And, 3 years later, I'm still no expert. But I have gotten a bit better. And I do recognize that those hours, those experiences, are important bricks in that wall that I've built so far for that skill. I do romanticize cosplay as an art form. A more flattering vessel for my geekier self, an opportunity to explore who I am by trying to become someone else, something else. An uncommon vehicle to expand the number and variety of things I can make. But if I'm really honest with myself, I think I ultimately treat and view my cosplays like entries in a diary. Every first, every struggle, every success in the creation process. Even the experiences I have while wearing the costumes. All captured in photos that I can look at later and recall. Cosplay documents a personal journey that we attempt to share with the world. That's what I used to see when I looked at those photos. But now, I think knowing what I know, and even what I don't know, just being aware of all these things that were completely invisible to me before, something in me has changed. Now I mostly feel sadness, anger, and disappointment rather than nostalgia when I see them. And I refuse to deny or ignore those things. I cannot unsee them. Because all meaningful recollections aside, that belt, that wool suit, are products of industries which are literally built on the backs of animals that spend the entirety of their lives never knowing their parents, never knowing either the joys or sorrows of making their own decisions for themselves. In most cases, they know of no world beyond a metal roof above their heads and a concrete floor beneath their feet. They exist for no other purpose than the satiation of human convenience and simply waiting for the day, that day, when the hand that bred and fed them comes to wring their necks. I think we should ask ourselves if that's a life we would want, if those are industries we should continue to support with our dollar, if those are products we should keep on incorporating in our cosplays, if we should stay content and blind to all of this. But folks, believe me when I say that I get it. Hear me when I say that I'm not pretending to be some infallible preacher man passing a moderate judgment. Because I know that I'm just a cosplayer too. A cosplayer who's been there just like any other. I know what it's like to take a subway back and forth in costume to a massive convention in a city. I know it well. I know what it's like to drive even 8 hours to a tiny, tiny campus con in a strange town, sleeping and changing out of the back of my car in order to do so. I've stayed in hotel rooms with way too many people. I've stayed in hotel rooms alone for an entire weekend with only a bag of makeup and a very tentative photo shoot schedule to hear my cries. Speaking of crying, in fact, I just recently had my first experience cramming a detailed and very work-intensive costume into airplane carry-on and praying for a smooth flight. I've walked those same miles in those same hand-stitched shoes that we all have. I'm not hating on the game. I'm not pretending that this is a simple undertaking, a quick, easy fix for everyone. I do know what a special thing it is when you get to a point with material where it feels like you finally understand how to work with it, where it's like the sky opens up a little bit, and you feel like just a little bit more you can make pretty much anything that pops into your head, which happens a lot. Sometimes after a while, you even get to the point where you feel like maybe it's one of the only things that you really understand in your life. Maybe it's one of the only things you feel like you can really control in life. Wigs, for example, are objectively my best skill right now. I have pretty good instincts about them. And if the day comes when I discover that the cosplay wigs from the cosplay supplier that I have come to rely upon are not cruelty-free and vegan, that will not be a small bump in the road, by any means. It will change how I work on cosplay, how I imagine cosplay, forever. I will probably have to find and learn some new techniques to use as I go. I might regress. It might not be easy. But knowing what I know, that cosplay, as I have done it in the past, and possibly in many other hidden ways as it is done today, overall, is not cruelty-free. That does matter to me. It matters a lot. From here on, I will be committed to finding the answers and putting what I know about this into action through my cosplay. No matter what struggles, what successes come with it. That is what this channel is going to be about. And I hope there's at least a few cosplayers out there who care about this too. I hope I find those people. If you're one of them, I hope you stick around. I hope we can learn from each other. I really mean that. I'm Jack Safe for Effort, and you're watching Cruelty Free Cosplay.
Red Dawn, war porns, rap nasty like porn. Pass on, transform, arm, leg, arm. Supreme head, infrared, we form like Voltron. We form like Voltron, then drop the bomb. Word is born.